Okay, there we go. Well, hello everybody. My name is Chanol Latimer, and I have primary progressive multiple sclerosis. Say that 10 times fast. um, and well, I'm very reluctantly making this video. Um, I'm reluctant because, frankly, this is kind of a hit a hit on my pride. Um, but you know, my family and I are definitely in need of some help. And so I will, in an attempt to make this video somewhat organized, what I'll do is, actually, first what I'll do is I'll um, describe what multiple sclerosis is, MS. Because I realize, maybe some of you don't actually know what that disease is. um, I know I didn't. Not until I got diagnosed. I had heard of it, but I didn't know what it was. I never really, it wasn't on my radar. So I'll do that. I'll explain. I'll talk about a little bit how it has affected my life and my family. And then I guess I'll explain what it is we need and why we need it. I mean, well, really, essentially, it comes down to, obviously, we're in need of financial aid, and it's mainly because, well, we can't pay our bills. But I'll get into all that so you can have a better understanding. Um, so, what is MS like? In a nutshell, it's a disease where your immune system is attacking your nervous system, and there's a bunch of symptoms that can result from that. Because of the brain lesions you end up having formed on your brain, you also can get lesions on your spinal cord, and I have both. But because the lesions can take place on different parts of your brain, everybody has kind of their own unique journey with this disease. So in my case, I guess getting into how this disease has affected me. I mean, first of all, my symptoms are that I have constant back pain, and that back pain really has no relief. Um, and it can go from, right now, it's relatively manageable. Like it I can do things right now, like drive, or walk a little bit. And when I say walk, I can't walk like your regular person. I need a walker. In fact, I always need a walker, and maybe more. I'll get into that. But so anyway, so very, very bad back pain. My hands are always numb and can sometimes be unresponsive, particularly my left hand. My left hand is definitely worse. Actually, my whole left side is the worst of my two halves. um, so it can be difficult to do certain things. Like hold, like, especially my left hand again, hold things, especially small things. I drop them a lot. And then also, I have leg weakness, uh, and to varying degrees, just like everything else. Everything I experience is varying degrees, and I never know to which end of the spectrum it will be. And not just from day to day, from hour to hour. So like, for example, actually, okay, well, here's a great example. So, talking about how this disease has affected me and my family. Um, so a great example would be brushing your teeth. Okay, something everybody does, or hopefully, hopefully everybody does. But it's something you do every day, and it should only take like a minute, minute and a half, not long. Well, it takes me so long that one day I got curious and I timed myself. It takes me 9 minutes to brush my teeth. 9 minutes. And it's mainly because I can't hold on to the toothbrush for any length of time. It keeps dropping, or I can't feel um, I can't feel how slippery it might be from getting wet, and I can't apply pressure, appropriate pressure, or or sometimes like I might have, as I look in the mirror, I can see the toothbrushes at one angle, but in actuality, how I feel it in my hands feels different. Essentially, my hands feel like I'm wearing gloves all the time. So you can kind of imagine how much that would affect certain things, like typing, for example. My typing speed is and accuracy is quite bad, and which lends itself towards making it difficult to perform, any work. I'm a programmer, and I taught myself how to build websites and simple software and things like that. I mean, um, I actually started out as a professional musician and did that for 20 years. And in 2020, after 2020, I did one tour there, and then I had to retire. And it wasn't. I didn't necessarily retire because of COVID. I retired because of this. My hands. It was getting difficult, if not impossible, to hold my saxophone, and standing on stage for a couple hours, that became a no-go. And even to the point of sitting down uh didn't help. So it's affected my ability to uh you know just do simple things, or well, if and by extension more complicated things. um and and in regards to walking, um I the progressive part of primary progressive, it means I'm gradually getting worse. As time goes on, my symptoms increase, or I add new symptoms. In the case of walking, I mentioned 2020. Back then, I could still walk without assistance. It wasn't pretty, but I could walk. But by the time it got, when by 2022, I had to start using a cane. Um, Early last year in 23, I started using a walker, and from there, now I'm at a point where a walker most times isn't good enough, because even with a walker, I can now only go a short distance, uh, very short distance actually. So now I'm in need of a powered wheelchair. I say powered because I actually have a standard wheelchair at my house that I've used a couple times, but I really can't use it because my hands have gotten so weak that I can't even propel myself with it. Um, and my wife and my daughter, they're not they're not big people. I'm 6'3". I weigh 300 pounds. My wife is 5 feet tall, and maybe on when she's soaking wet from the shower, she might weigh about 98 pounds. She's under 100 pounds. My daughter is five. Well, she's knocking on the door of 5'4", and she's about 90 pounds herself. And so go do the math on that yourself. you know, um, so a standard wheelchair is not enough. The walker is not enough because I'm falling a lot. I went from, let's see, last year, and I know I'm a nerd because I keep track of stuff like this, but last year I was falling on average about once or twice a month, um, around there. Now I'm falling about twice a week, and you know, the a lot of times we have to call the fire department because the reasons I fall is my most times my legs are not strong enough for me to get myself up. On a good day, I can kind of get myself up, but it's still a lot of effort um, uh, goes into play. And thus far, I've been fortunate where I haven't gotten injured, but I do not want to tempt fate because all I need is to break a leg or worse, break my hip, and then the trouble will magnify intensely, and that would probably put us at a point where we can't be helped, given the cost of what that would entail. So anyway, and then socially, it's affected me, and it's affected my family, socially. Socially for me, um, well, okay, well, first of all, it's just painful for me to go anywhere. Even on a day like today, where my back pain is on a scale of 1 to 10, it's about a 4. So I can get around a little bit, but but like, I don't know, like in an hour, maybe it's a 10, or maybe it's a 2. I don't know. Like that's the thing about this disease is it's so, it's unpredictable. You don't really know how things are gonna go from hour to hour or whatever. So anyway, so it causes me to be afraid to go out because I don't know how much pain I'm going to end up in. Um, so so it's hard for me to, I don't get to see friends. I don't get to uh, interact with people. Um, the last time I did any extensive interaction was a couple of years ago, where I met up with a few siblings of mine. We all went to Disney World, it was so much fun. I'm so, looking back, I'm so happy we were able to do that together. It was really a great time. But the whole time I was there, I was in intense pain. I really, really was. I was in so much pain. And at one point, well, we took a bathroom break. I was in the bathroom, and I just had to stay in there for a bit, for a while to collect myself, because I was so hot, and at the time I didn't realize that heat can affect your symptoms as an MS patient. Make them worse. Uh, but B, I was just in so much pain. I needed to recenter myself because I didn't want my siblings to know how much pain I was in. I didn't want them to feel bad for me. I didn't want them to be worried and not have a good time while we were all together, because we don't see each other almost ever. And so anyway, so it affects me that way. But now I have a new thing going on, which, by the way, between the pain and my hand numbness, makes it hard for me to be in a job. So I'm out of the workforce. I am a part of 2 startups, um, because they don't need me to do too much, other than lend my thoughts, and stuff of that nature. But they're not in situations that are, paying me yet. We're months away from that. Um, to be honest with you, at this point, all it really does is give me something to focus on other than my pain or some of my other symptoms. Um, and so, speaking of so this final symptom, I'll share, which is really embarrassing, but again, it contributes to why it's hard for me to have a social life, or uh, or have a regular job. Um, I've developed well, uh, I've developed, let's say, bathroom issues, and those issues are such of nature that sometimes it takes me quite a while to be in uh, get myself back into a situation where I can perform a job, or be presentable enough to be in public. You know what? That's maybe one of the greatest frustrations of this disease, is the amount of time I lose. You know, for me, it's a lot of time. Like, no matter what I do, it takes more time to do. In most cases, a lot more time. And those things affect my family. They don't like seeing me. I guess in the condition that I can be in. Oftentimes, and it's stressful for them, particularly my daughter, 16. She's in high school, and that's already a stressful time for kids. But it's causing her to be distracted in school, and you know, my wife is concerned. It's just it's a hard time for us. And then added on top of that are the financial issues we're having, which I guess now is as good a time as any to explain that end of things. So, um, what what we need in order to take care of our situation is $50,000. And that $50,000, well, first of all, okay, let me explain what it would go to, and I'll try to go in briefly to how we got into this situation. But so it would go towards, of course, our regular, living expenses, the bills. Um, it would also go towards my medical expenses, some of my medical debt, both of which are pretty considerable. Uh, and also, importantly, it's going to go into getting me certain medical equipment that I need, such as the powered wheelchair, several other things, and lastly, and I think this is a really important component as well. Um, it's going to go towards $1,000 emergency fund. Okay, so why would I do that? Well, I think it makes sense to have something kept in reserve, you know, in case something unexpected happens. And something unexpected, I'm sure you could relate to this, always happens. A car breaks down, for example, or maybe your washing machine goes out, whatever, but something always wants to pop up. And I do not want to take out of the other donation money that I may receive to pay for something like that when we need it for those other things. So I'd like to have enough to put in a reserve so that I can handle those things that may not be expected. Um, so yeah, so uh, I'm asking for donations so we can obtain our goal of $50,000. And the last thing I'll mention about that is that we're looking to do this within a relatively short period of time. This will not be an ongoing campaign. I'm not going to leave this up to hopefully get something every month. Every month, we can't afford that. And what I mean by that is, um, we're not in a position where we can wait each month to see how many donations come in each month. Because I mean, if you consider that, we don't know how much is going to come in with donations. So therefore, how can we make plans on, okay, well, we can pay this, we can pay that, or whatever. So uh, we ask that uh, we want to receive the donations to reach our goal within 4 to 5 weeks. I'm really thinking 4 weeks, to be honest with you, because well, really, I mean, I might as well say 4 weeks, because that's pretty much when we run out of money. Um, so we can take care of ourselves for the next little round of bills, just now starting to come in, and that will come in the beginning of April. But beyond that, as we used to say when I was in elementary school, stick a fork in me, I'm done. you know. Anyway, so so yeah, so we want to achieve our goal of $50,000 within 4 weeks. And you know, I don't have much to offer other than a sincere thank you. However, I will say that if you can donate to help us out, um, it will be a lot that you're helping with, because we are at a point, we've gone through all of our reserves, we've sold things that were near and dear to us and all that, and it's just not enough. It's not enough to cover all of these expenses that are uh just piling up on us. And so you would be helping us in that way, but you know you'll be helping give us peace of mind, and in the with someone like my daughter, that's really important, because she, like I said, she's very distracted in school. Her grades are not great, not great at all. And my wife has trouble sleeping, and I have trouble sleeping. So your donation would definitely help in terms of giving us peace of mind. It would most certainly help our financial situation, which could help us uh, stay away from other uh, not so pleasant alternatives, such as losing our house or anything like that. But also, there's other things. If you consider that I need a powered wheelchair because I'm falling so much using the walker, your donation could sincerely and actually help keep me from getting injured very seriously. Because, like I said, I'm rolling the dice every time I fall. And at some point, my luck may run out from not getting injured. And then finally, on a personal note, your donation would help me gain more mobility and freedom, because right now, um, fortunately, I can drive most days, but I have to be careful because if I feel like my symptoms are starting to creep up on me, then I go immediately home. But with a powered wheelchair, even if my symptoms are bad, I could still take a little stroll around my neighborhood, and maybe get to see my neighbors for a change. Whereas now, I can't talk to I don't see anybody because I spend most of my time in the house. So, this video is long. I didn't mean it to be this long, but uh, I really hope that um, my situation with me and my family is compelling to you. Um, so I ask, please, if you are able, please send a donation to the GoFundMe page I'm going to set up. And we appreciate whatever you can give. Even if you can't give or donate, um, if you wouldn't mind sharing this GoFundMe page, sharing the link, whether it's on your social media or you email somebody or whatever, that would really help us in a lot of ways too. So, I ask that you help us in whatever way you can. So, uh, yeah, I guess that's all I have to say. So, thank you in advance. And yeah, please donate.